is it so hard to let love unfold and stay? Humming the same song, never writing the words, and our wheels they keep on turning. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Why don't we feel it embracing us? There was a time when magic opened up our eyes. Living on the far side of town, sharing a dream with anyone. She's made it through heaven, she's made it through hell. It's just another story to tell. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen? Filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights. Making up a bar queen on the phone in the great big boulevard, the place she belongs. It's just another story she tells. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen? Filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights. Through Hollywood nights. Through Hollywood nights. Stay muted, stay filling. One brotherhood, one ship. Stay muted, stay filling. It's BV, it's BV, BV, it's BV,
Yeah.
it's BV, it's BV, it's BV,
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews, all in check your phone, just BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. Hey, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another. Hey, we're back on Friday night, and I don't know for how long. Welcome back to Friday Night Edition, The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the bearded villains, Worldwide Brotherhood. Hey, guys, it's February. It's February already. February 2nd, which means it's Groundhog Day. Every time I say Groundhog, I have to say it like they did on the movie every day. Groundhog Day. I don't know. It's just me, maybe. But hey, it's the second Groundhog Day, and hey, big news, right? Big news. For the first time in a long time, it seems like every year, it seems like they do this thing. I mean, you know, Puxatawny Phil, and you hear about it. I'm not one who gets up early to watch it or hear about it, but throughout the day, you know, some news breaks, and you hear about it, and it's always, well, it's 6 more weeks of winter, whatever it is. It's always a long time away, or you know, whatever it is. It's not an early spring, rather, anyway. It seems like 90% of the time that's what you hear. But today, we heard the opposite. It sounds like it's going to be supposedly an early spring, if you believe such matters. And I'll take it. I will take an early spring. We have been very fortunate so far, I know, here in northern Indiana, to not have a terribly strong winter as far as weather goes, you know, snow and whatnot. I am in the lake effect snow belt up here in northern Indiana, but we've been so far, knock on wood, pretty spared of the heavy snow. We've had a few good downpours, and I've had to get the snowblower out a few times, and we had that bout, you know, we've had a couple bouts of well below zero and, you know, super cold wind chill. But for the most part, you know, hey, if we've already passed the worst, and probably not, because it's only February in northern Indiana, but it'll probably get worse before it gets better at some point. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Any bit of positivity toward an early spring is what I'm all about. And hey, that's the moniker of tonight. That's the name of the game tonight. Positivity. I do not. I'll preface this right now for everybody that's in the chat right now, or listening in another fashion live. I do not have an interview guest tonight, but I want to talk about positivity. So I'm interested to hear about what super positive or fun or cool things you're looking forward to in the year. If you want to leave messages in the chat. Also, another option for you is to jump in online chat on the line. Hit me up directly on my line, and I can bring you in as an audio call. Or if you have my phone number, no, I'm not going to give that out all over the place. But if you have my phone number, I can bring you in on Bluetooth onto my phone as well. So I'm interested to hear from people what are we're going to be talking here in a little bit, hopefully with anybody. Otherwise, you're just going to hear me ramble on for a few minutes. And this could be a one of those short episodes. We'll see. But I'm interested to hear about what the super positive stuff. We're in this weird stage of the year, I think, always, usually after the hubbub of Christmas and New Year's comes by, and everybody's super excited about whatever resolutions they did. Or us here at the show, we do the one word challenge. But you know, January, about halfway through January, everybody's kind of like, okay, now we're here, right? You know, now we're here and into the year, and you settle in, and then you start to wonder, okay, now it's like there's expectation. You're just waiting for something to happen rather than making something happen. And I think that seems to be, we have that a couple of times a year, and it's tangible sometimes. I think you can feel it, where you just kind of, there's a lull. So I know this is one of those windows in our Bearded Villain calendar also, where we're prepping for the spring, and there's not a whole lot of events to go to yet. I know there's some chapters that are going to be doing some polar plunges. Some did it at the end of last year, and some do them here coming up in the next few weeks. and I'll be really interested to see the videos and the photos. Those are always fun. The videos, the photos, and see what the chapters do. Because some chapters around, I mean, I'll tell you what, I give a big shout out to those guys up in Canada that do the polar plunges, because when they find a great lake to jump into in the winter months, that's saying something. I know in Indiana, there's a few lakes that different organizations plunge into. I know that up in Chicago, they plunge into Lake Michigan, and yeah, it's a different animal when you go into a natural body of water as opposed to a pool. But hey, you can ice it down. That's fine. But it's always fun. It's always fun to see the videos and the photos. So I know we've got several people getting ready to do a variety of different polar plunges coming up and different things like that. But tonight's all about positivity, and I'm curious just to hear. I love hearing about what some of the different chapters are doing, planning for the year, and this is one of those things that I think our brotherhood can kind of unite for. And if your chapter is planning on doing something kind of unique for charity that maybe you've never heard of before, or maybe you just came up with and we're going to try something different, I'd love to hear about that. Those are the really cool ones, especially when you hear somebody trying to do something brand new that you haven't heard anybody else trying to do for charity. Those are always cool. And then it's interesting to see if you can make that work in other areas of the world as well. we're talking we're talking a little bit about positivity here tonight, and old Ed says, I am positive I am not jumping into a frozen lake. Yes. I know. I'd done it once for a polar plunge, and I get I can understand why some people love to do it, but I just, it's just not for me. I did it once to say I did it, and I'm okay with me never doing it again. But for sure, Rob says, hard to do a polar plunge in Louisiana. It is. But you know what? I bet some of your northern brethren would welcome you with open arms to come on up. I know if you're really hurting and you're jonesing hard to try and do a polar plunge, I know the boys up at BVC in Michigan would love to see you up there. I know the guys in southern Indiana, Saint, reach out to Saint in southern Indiana. They're doing theirs in a couple weeks. Reach out to him. Come on up. Maybe spend the weekend and just have a fun polar plunge. Tell all the guys in Louisiana what it's like to do a polar plunge. They'd probably love to hear that. So, oh, buddy's killing me here. I don't even like going outside when it's cold, much less jumping in a lake. I hear you. It's funny. It's one of those things that, when you do it, it's nice to do. You can say that you accomplished it, and some people do it, like I said, every year. But I gotta say, I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it would be. The worst part, obviously, is getting out. Once you're out, no matter how quickly you can try and dry off, that's the worst part. It's not getting in the water. I don't think. I think you can get used to the water pretty quickly, but when you suddenly when you have to climb out of that water and now you're in the frozen air, that's the rough one. But yeah. So it's always, Robert says, polar plunges are refreshing. Yes, they are. They are. Usually it's the skinny guys. That complain about it, though. They don't have a whole lot of meat on their bones. They just get in and they freeze up real quick. Puzzle. Welcome, Puzzle. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. You all are crazy. Yes, we are. We are. All right, guys. Good times here tonight. Good times. Love seeing this interaction. But yeah, so if you can think of something, guys, what you're doing over the course of this next several months, if you got something fun planned, I'm going to give a shout out to a couple of people that I know reached out to me and were telling me about some cool stuff that they did recently. So I got to give a shout out to the boys over in Ohio, right? The boys over in Ohio did something pretty cool. They just recently, got a message from Jesse, Captain. He reached out and said they recently did a donation to a local food pantry, right? And they raised $1,600 and over 700 pounds of food donations for a food pantry. Very, very cool stuff. I guess it's called the Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan. So thanks, Jesse, for giving me some words on that. I love hearing the successes of our chapters out there. And like I said, sometimes it's the obvious things, right? It's the obvious things that you hear about that maybe push you a little bit further. And you don't always have to plan some major event to raise money for charity. You can go work for them. You can go jump on somebody else's bandwagon. If somebody else is doing an event, jump in there and be just part of the group, part of the thing. You don't have to organize it yourself. But it's simple things like that. Just raising a little bit of food, a little bit of groceries, a little bit of whatever it is, and some money. You can do some good things. $1,600, man, for a food pantry. That's pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. Love to see that. All right. Well, hopefully somebody's going to want to jump in here and. I'm sorry. Sometimes the comments come in at just the perfect time when we're talking about things, and we were talking about sometimes it's the skinny guys that complain about the polar plunge. Rob, skinny guy, yes. All right, I get it totally, for sure. Yeah, we could talk about polar plunge all night. Robert says, it's a true polar plunge when you have to cut a hole in the ice first. Yes, indeed. But word of caution, do not do a polar plunge out by yourself, for sure, in a large body of water. And do not cut a hole in a body of water that has a current. Do not do that, because you will never be seen again. You will never be seen again, for sure. All right. So I'm interested to hear, like I said, about what maybe some of our chapters, some of your brothers out there are doing to really kind of push a positive message this year. And it's not just here in the social media world or whatever it is that we live in, where it feels like there's this weird lull in the year. But right now it seems like there's kind of a weird lull in the world of BV, lacking positivity as well. And so I'll get into that, at least my personal impressions of that, here in just a few minutes also. But I'm going to bring back a little segment that we've used before here in the show a lot of times. And I think it's really beneficial to that end. I think it's really beneficial to the end of, we're supporting other chapters. We're trying to help them out and see if we can, help a chapter out with things that they're doing for themselves and for their own charity endeavors. So I have not done this probably for about 8 or 10 weeks now. I kind of pushed it aside and stopped doing it for a bit, but I'm bringing back a little bit of mentions of some stuff that chapters are kind of selling right now, merch wise. And I have decided, this is old BP here talking to you now. I have decided that I am not going to force myself to go out of my way to find your stuff. Okay? I'm not going to go out of my way to find your stuff. So if you want me to bring it on the air and show a merch item or something like that you're trying to sell for charity, you're going to have to reach out to me. You're going to have to, I can't spend hours trolling all the different social media platforms to try and find out that your chapter's selling this one thing. So what I need from you guys is this. If you want me to feature it on the show, I need you to send me a picture of maybe your page where it's being shown. A lot of the chapters out there have big cartel pages, or now I know Fourth Wall is what we use. A few other chapters use Fourth Wall. Some chapters are using a variety of the different sellers out there that do things. What I would love to see is, if you're trying to sell something, don't just send me a blank image or something like that. I would love, going forward after today, send me an image, like a screenshot from your store, because what that does is that gives me not only the image, but if you have a shirt and it has 2 sides on it, chances are the store image will show both sides of the shirt, and a price. That's the important thing, and the price. So I'm not trying to figure out the prices or anything like that, but I want to be able to share this stuff with everybody, and it would be nice. So all you got to do is take a screenshot from your own store. So if you're selling a patch, take a screenshot from that store and it'll show the price and everything on there. We've got a couple tonight like that. But that's the plan going forward. I would love to see that. But like I said, I'm not going to hunt you down. If you want me to talk about it, if you want me to mention it on here and share it, I would love to do it. But I'm going to leave this up to you guys. I want you guys to be the ones that are spearheading this effort, not just me. And because you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many hours it seems like over the course of the last year or two that I've just been scrolling through thinking, I thought like 4 days ago I saw somebody post that they're selling something. And I'd sit there and just scroll and scroll and scroll and couldn't find it. And then I'd reach out and it would really bother me that I couldn't find it again. So I'm not doing that anymore. We've been doing this show for 4 years now, guys. 4 years, 203 episodes. This is episode 203. We've been doing this for so long. People know. People should know anyway, right? I'm not the most popular game in town, and I get that. And we may only have a handful of regular viewers on a regular basis, but I'm okay with that too. But people know that the show exists now, at least. And they may not watch all the time. They may not watch any time, but they at least know the show exists. And they know that we're here. This show is here as a resource. And so even if you aren't a regular viewer of the show, even if nobody from your chapter ever watches the show or listens to the show, just know that I'm here and I'm willing to share your merch item or something like that you're doing for charity. I'll be here to do that, even for the people that aren't here physically supporting this show. Why? Because it's a brotherhood, and I'm here for you guys. This is fun for me. The whole behind the scenes thing. If you could just like sit over here in a chair behind me while I'm doing one of these shows, and I know some of our viewers have done that. I know Ed's been here a couple times when I've done a live show, and he sees the chaos that happens. But you can't argue with the fact of this, and I know Ed would probably vouch for this. You can't argue with the fact that no matter what I'm doing, I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. And the funniest part about it is you guys can't see what I see. You guys can't see the fact that I'm looking at all these different weird buttons and screens and everything, but I'm staring into this black circle of a camera the entire time, acting like I'm talking to a whole new person. So it's a lot of fun for me, and I'll be here forever. It don't bother me at all. So I love to share your guys' stuff. That's a long way. That's a long, long, long way of me telling you guys, give me your info. Give me your stuff. Your merch items. I want to share it. So let's do something here, right? Let's do a little bit of merch, and no fanciness to it whatsoever. I'm just going to start sharing some stuff. These are some items. Now, this goes against what I just told you, where I just told you I'm not going to be hunting stuff down. This is stuff that I came across today, and I don't know if it's still some of it's still active or not, but these are things that just over a 5-minute period I scrolled through and found, with one exception. Got to give a shout out to Buddy. Buddy over there, down there in Chattanooga, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we've got this thing. Could you please share it?" And I said, "Abso-friggin-lutely. Yes, I'm going to share it. Thank you for reaching out." And so that's that. All right, we're going to start off here. North Texas Villains have a koozie, a magnetic koozie, and I think it's $10. So this has been out and about for a little bit now, and I just keep seeing it pop up. So I thought I'd just share it because it was readily available to me to see. So hit up the North Texas Villains if you want to get a magnetic koozie to magnetize to the side of your fridge if you really want to. Smoky Mountain Villains. They are selling their, I believe this is the 6-year patch. The 6-year patch for the grand total of $10, I think it is. Hit up Smoky Mountain Villains. I don't know if they have any of these left. I don't know how many they have or how many they ever had, but it came across in my feed. I didn't have to search too hard for it. Maybe somebody posted it recently, or maybe it's just an old thing that popped up. Don't know. But Smoky Mountain Villains. All right. It's pretty cool. Bright, bold colors. I love it. Love it. All right, moving on to Chattanooga. I do not have the price of the shirt. So maybe here in the comment section, buddy, if you're still here watching, or if Puzzle is in here and wants to, They have a 2-year anniversary patch and shirt. These are on pre-sale. I know that the patch is $10, and I'm not sure what this shirt costs, but it's also on a pre-sale. So the pre-sale for this ends March 1st. Get on board. See what I did there? Come on. You see what I did there? Come on. Get the applause together. Say it. Get on board with the Chattanooga Villains shirt and patch for $10 for the patch. And the shirt's probably, I don't know, normal shirt prices, right? But go over there and get one of those, Chattanooga shirts and patches. They would be very glad if you did. 25. Oh, look at that. Buddy says $25 for the shirt. All right. That's what I figured. It was somewhere between $20-25. $25 for the shirt, $10 on the patch. Patch or shirt combo, Puzzle says. All right. Well, hey, get over there. Just go hunt them down. Chattanooga Villains, and go to their store and check it out for sure. All right. Next up, Central England. This is what I want right here. Okay. Now, I did this. I screenshotted this just as an example. But when you send me stuff from here out, moving forward, this is what I want to see. I want to see a screenshot of the item. This is directly from their Big Cartel page, I think. And it shows what it is and the price. So it's easy for me to throw up here. I love it. Help me help you, right? Help me help you. Bearded Villain Central England 2024 Autism Patch, 10 pounds. That's what that little symbol is there for you uneducated people here in the U.S. or any other country. That's a pound symbol. So do your own conversions on that. But 10 pounds, Bearded Villain Central England Autism Patch for 2024. Very cool stuff. And then, hey, I'm going to give a shout out to, because I can, my own chapter here. That's right, my own chapter. We have 2 different hoodies currently available on the website, which is bvnorthernindiana.org. And I can share that because I know it off the top of my head. I don't know everybody else's websites. But we have 2 different ones. We have a zip-up hoodie and we have a pullover hoodie, standard size, or standard. Now, the zip-up hoodie starts at $55. And the other hoodie, the pullover hoodie, with a slightly different design, is $50. So this here is the zip-up hoodie. Very, very cool design, if I do say so myself. Good job by our team here. I know Ed, and I'm not sure who else. Maybe Rob may have, or Tim. I'm sorry, Tim may have helped out with that one. But hey, very, very cool stuff. Zip-up hoodie. Zip-up hoodie is available for $55, and then we've got this guy here, which is the pullover hoodie, for $50. So hit up our chapter for goodness, all the goodness, and you can find patches and other stuff on there as well. bvnorthernindiana.org. All right, guys. Well, that is the merch items that I have so far right now. And that's that. I don't have any fanciness to add to that. But I am going to I'm going to play a piece of music real quick while I take a sip of my beverage over here.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Let me introduce myself. My name is Porter Rock, straight off the officer shelf. I represent BBC all day, every day.
Okay. All right. That's a good song. I love that song. I love it. All right. That's enough of that. Okay. So let's do this. Now BP's gonna get on his little soapbox here, and it's not gonna be bad. It's not gonna be bad. If anybody wants to just tune out and walk away, by all means, go for it. I as I mentioned before, this is a Bearded Villains podcast. Nothing official. No, this is not the Bearded Villains official podcast. This is the Heart of a Villain, but we cover the world of BV. And so what I'm not going to address anything politically speaking or anything like that, but I just want to address the prospect of positivity. because this time of year especially, but now this year, um, oh, I'll address the question in the question room here. Um, Mr. Rob says, "What are we drinking tonight?" Tonight, I am drinking a fine beverage from the folks at Sun King Brewery in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it's called Osiris. Osiris. It's a pale ale. Very good, very good. And I've got, I think I poured 2 of them into this super vat of beer here, so I could fill up the cup, of course. So, but now that you just made me talk about it, I'm gonna have to take another sip. So let's do that. Maybe you know what I need to do? We need to find me some music, like some drinking music, so I'm not just pushing the same button every time. But every time I take a drink, I need a song that I can play, so you're not just listening to dead air. So I'm gonna take another sip.
We the villains who were grown from the concrete jungles within. It's been a long time coming, so we waited and struck.
All right, there's my sip. All right, gotta find a sip. We gotta find some beer music, right? So every time BP needs a sip, we can just we can flip on some music. But all right, so that was what we were drinking tonight. Does that need to be a new segment for the show? What are we drinking tonight? I think that needs to be a new segment. Rob, you may have unwittingly just created a new segment for the show, and we'll just call it "What Are You Drinking Tonight?" Yes, Gray. Evan Williams Bottle and Bond is my drink tonight. Hey, I've got a bottle of that right over there, and it is actually the supersized bottle that's over there, and it only has about this much left in it. As a matter of fact, up until about 3 days ago, I saw it over there, and I thought I had emptied it, and I left it there. I was like, "Ooh, there's still some more left in there." I thought it was empty, but it's not. All right, so let's see. Yeah, Evan Williams, good. That's a good sip. Okay, so what we're gonna do, what I want to just continue on my thought process there was that I do not tolerate I do not tolerate negative people for the purpose of negativity, right? I don't like those. I don't like the people that just want to watch the world burn. I don't like the people that come up with every single thing that they come out of their mouth is a negative thought, and they're not happy unless other people are unhappy. They're not happy unless they make other people unhappy. They like to do that. They like to drop the grenade and walk away, that kind of a thing. And that just drives me absolutely crazy because life is way too short to be living around those people. And so I think, especially right now, in the climate we're in, I think it's super duper important for us to focus, those of us in the Bearded Villain community, to focus on positivity, to focus on what we can do to support each other, what we can do to support our chapters, what we can do to support our communities, all that stuff. Because I think it's very easy, and it's not only is it easy, but it's lazy, I think, to sit back and sit back like you're the old man in the chair on the front porch watching everybody go by. And all you ever do is criticize. It's easy to cast those stones. It's easy to throw them around and not ever have an ounce of goodwill or an ounce of positivity to what you do or what you say. That's the easy route. That's the lazy route. I choose instead to focus my time and my efforts and my abilities on spending time in and around those people that, that are positive, that look toward solutions rather than the problems all the time. You're going to run into problems all the time. Life isn't easy, right? We've heard that from several speeches out there in the world. But when you run into those things, when life hits you, when something goes wrong in your life, when somebody's being pissy with you, when somebody pisses you off, when somebody talks bad about you, no matter what happens, you can't just dwell on it. And so I prefer to be that person that says, okay, what now? Okay, that happened, but now what? But what did we do next? That's kind of the way I love to see things. And I I don't like to be around those people that just drain your energy. That, you know, no matter what you say around these people, they have an immediate but I hear you, but right? No matter what you say, no matter what kind of positive spin you try to put on something, yeah, but did you think about this? Yeah, but and that's usually here's what the funny thing is I've noticed in my life, that's usually coming from the people that have a prepared response. You ever been around those people that when you're talking to them, you're trying to have an actual conversation with somebody. You're looking them in the eye, you're having a deep conversation, or you're having at least somewhat meaningful conversation with somebody. And the second you finish a thought, they're jumping in immediately. Like it's almost like a prepared answer. Like they didn't give any thought at all to what you said, whether it was a discussion, whether it was an argument, whether it was a plan, no matter what it was. We all know those people. We all know those people. And maybe you found yourself being one of those people from time to time. It's a difficult thing to do. I've had to actually force myself and teach myself over the years to lessen the times that I do that. Nobody's perfect. You're always going to do that, especially in a heated conversation. But it's so easy to be lazy, what I would call a lazy listener. It's easy to be a lazy listener because as somebody's talking to you about something, the entire time they're talking to you, or you're reading a text, because now we live in a text world, but the entire time somebody else is trying to relay their message to you, whether it's text, whether it's voice, the entire time, as soon as they start their thought, your mind is already racing toward, yeah, but. Your mind is already racing toward what you want to say, your interjection or your opinion based off of what they said. And if you do that, if you're one of those people that's constantly doing that, how are you possibly ever going to really give credence to what that other person's thought was? Now we live in this weird world where everybody has to comment and everybody has to make their own statement be heard. Nobody can just let things happen. Nobody can just let things go and let somebody else be that voice. Let somebody else be that crazy voice out there in the world. But no, we live in this world now where people have to jump in. People have to give their opinion because, like, my opinion must matter more than yours. That's so interesting to see because sometimes the loudest person in the room is the person that's making the most of a mockery of their own thought. You're proving your own point sometimes by being that loudest person in the room. Over the last several weeks, I've actually seen it. I've seen it in Bearded Villain chats. I've seen it in regular, out in the world. I've seen it in chats. I've seen it in text conversations where it's almost like a person is so hell-bent on getting their opinion out there, and they're so quick to make sure you understand that, especially in a text conversation, that it's almost like they're having a conversation with themselves. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been around those people? That it's almost like they're having a complete conversation with themselves because the second they finish typing what they want to type for that one immediate thought and they hit send, they're already working on a follow-up to it. And before anybody can read it and potentially give a thought to it, they're already given another one. And then they're given another one on top of that. And I've actually seen people in the last several weeks in BV chats contradict themselves in immediate thoughts, one after another. I've seen people talk out of one side of their mouth and then talk right out the other side in a 30-second time period. When did it become so important for us to be liked and for us to make sure other people liked us and that we had our opinion that was so strong that we needed to tell everybody about it? It's funny. There was I don't know if it was a comedian or if it was a public speaker or somebody that said, not long ago in a speech I remember watching where they said that time used to be that you were worried about, and maybe it was a Denzel Washington quote, I can't remember what, but time used to be that you were worried about what one or two people would think of you. You were worried that this one person may not like you. And now we live in a world where you're worried about the fact that you don't have 10,000 people liking you, that you don't have 5,000 people liking your thing, liking your tweet, liking your comment. We live our lives in a world now that's based solely off of that recognition. We need to have that recognition. We need to feel liked. We need to feel like we're worthy and like our opinion matters. Do you remember a simpler time? Do you remember a simpler time when your opinion didn't matter to anybody but you? Because you weren't sharing it with millions of people. And inevitably, when you do that, you're going to run into a big portion of people that don't like what you say. And what's that do to people's morale? What's that do to your self-confidence? We live in that world now where it's like we have to be liked. We have to get our opinion out there. As if your opinion matters more than the other 15,000 people that are thinking or commenting or liking or whatever it is anymore. I don't have the answers. I have a microphone in front of me right now, and I got a podcast, and I got a show that I can talk at least what's on my heart. And I can talk about what I would love to see from other people. And yeah, is this sort of my way of making my opinion known the same way I'm trying to tell people not to do that? Yes, in a way it is. But at the same time, all I'm trying to do is ask the question, why are we like this? Why have we become this thing that we can't look toward the positive? Everything is negative. And we always worry about what other people like or what they don't like, about what we do and or say. I just wish it were easier for people to realize. You can sit there, you can have an opinion, and you can shut the hell up. You don't have to tell everybody your thing all the time. But no, that's how we are now. That's how it is. And now we live in this world because we're so used to giving our own opinions. We're so used to jumping over somebody else's thoughts and opinions. We're so used to stomping on their ideals and their goals so that we can get our own opinion heard. We're so used to that now it all just becomes a big fog. It's a blur. And now what does it say about us? I don't know. I feel drained sometimes because I see what this club can be. I see what this club has been to many people. And for all the stuff you think that is good, bad, or indifferent about how certain parts of the club are organized or whatever else it is, the fact is you're here. And the fact is you came for a reason. She said. That's what she said. But the fact is you're here for a reason. And what one person, two people, 10 people are doing or have done in the past or might do in the future has little to no bearing on you and your happiness. What are you going to do to change somebody else's life? What are you going to do to be there for another brother? What can we do as a club to ensure that we're doing everything we can for our brothers, for our community, to grow our chapters, All of that. I think it's one of those things where it's so much easier to complain than it is to give solutions, right? It's so much easier to complain because you don't have to have a solution to complain. All you can do is talk about what's bad. And that's lazy. It's easy. But this club, what Bearded Villains is today, and no, I haven't been here since the beginning. I came in around year 3, year 2.5, year 3 of the club's existence. So I haven't been here from the beginning. But you know what? A lot of the people that were here from the beginning aren't here anymore. And a lot of people that are still here from the beginning are some of the people that have that toxic responsibility to the world where they want to preach about how wrong you are. They're not positive people. The one thing they're positive about is that you're wrong. That's not the positive kind of person I want to be around. But we all know those. There's people out there that have been in the club for a long time. We've talked about this when we talked about leadership. We've talked about a whole bunch of different topics over the course of this time, these 4 years in the show. And we all know that there's people out there in every organization. Bearded Villains is no different. It's all about personalities and people and learning how to cope, learning how to deal with people of different personalities, different backgrounds, everything else. But in that same regard, you also have to recognize that there's a lot of good out there. And there's a lot of really cool things that people are doing. And there's a lot of really cool opinions out there. Our brothers are doing some amazing things. That's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to talk about. That's what interests me. We've got brothers out there who would tell you today they would not be alive were it not for this organization, for this brotherhood, because of the connections and the close-knit community that they found. There are people out there that have told me that too. You've heard it. There are lives in your communities, in some of our communities, who we have physically, that we have in some way, shape, or form, tangibly affected in a positive way. We have changed lives all over the world. That's the stuff I want to talk about. And what's so important about, I think about this, is that it's not about any 1, 2, 5, 10 people, right? The people that make up this brotherhood are what it is. Those of us that have been a part of this brotherhood, you know, I know Dave commented here in the live stream that, you know, a lot has changed in the last 5 years. Absolutely it has. But you know what? When we say things like that, sometimes it can be taken negative. I think it's a positive. I think it's an absolute positive that things have changed in the last 5 years, because I have seen a lot of growth. Now, some people say that 5, 6, 7 years ago, that the group was closer, that the brotherhood felt closer. Well, of course it would, right? That makes sense. When there's only 500 people in a group, it's going to feel closer than when there's almost 5,000. When there's only 5, 6 chapters, when there's only 10 chapters of something, it's going to feel more tight-knit than when there's 150, 160 chapters worldwide. But I'll be damned if it's not changed my life. I'll be damned if it hasn't changed the lives of hundreds and hundreds of our brothers. So it's so important, I think, for us to focus on the positive. Focus on the fact that we, those of you listening to this show tonight, those of you who are watching the show tonight, those of you who are listening to this on another podcast platform later, those of us that make up the chapters of Bearded Villains around the world, we are this brotherhood. We have made this brotherhood what it is today. It is so much more than what it originally was created as. And it's because of the efforts, it's because of the blood, sweat, and tears of all of the guys who have been in the past, who may not still be here, but their efforts are no less important. It's from the efforts of all of the people who have come before us, and it's in honor of all the people that are coming after us. We have to honor the past, but plan for the future. And if we spend hour upon hour upon hour about bitching and moaning about what's going on, how are we planning for the future? Nothing's perfect. This is not perfect. And not every person in the brotherhood is perfect. But man, it amazes me that we can do so many good things and we still have people on the sidelines. But, it's crazy. Crazy to see. Puzzle jumps in. He says, I am where I am now because of these brothers. Absolutely, I feel that. And there's so many people out there that have that same sentiment, Puzzle. Absolutely. He follows it up with, every time I have fallen, they lift me up. Yep. And that's what we should do. That's where we should be. That's what this is all about. And honestly, I think that's what separates us. I think that's what separates us from so many other social clubs out there in the world. And I'm not specifically talking about beard clubs. I'm talking about all the different clubs that are out there that you could possibly belong to. Most of them that are out there are simply that. They're a social club of some sort. But they don't have people that you can call at 2 a.m. if you need something. They don't have people that they don't have brothers. They don't have brothers that you can reach out to. If you're traveling and your car gets stuck, your car goes down, you got a family member in need, some family member in crisis. We have that. How many times have we heard about somebody having a family member or themselves being stuck with some random thing that happened? And somebody in another state, somebody, in some cases, it's happened where people have been in other countries and they reach out to a bearded villain and they're there for them. What we have is pretty damn amazing. And that's what I want to focus on. How many times I've even heard stories. I've even experienced it myself now that I think about it, where a brother reaches out to another brother to say, hey, I've heard about this. I don't know this person personally, but I know this person's in need. A friend of mine reached out to me saying, do you know anybody? Because I'm a bearded villain. Do you know anybody over here that could possibly help? And bearded villains have stepped up. Hey, there's a reason why that's a great slogan. Villains step up, guys. That's right. There's a reason why that's a great slogan. But that's the positivity. That's the positivity that we need, that we have. We are this brotherhood. And there is no one person out there any greater than the other. We have made it what it is collectively. The brothers who are here now, the brothers that were here earlier, we have created what it is today, what Bearded Villains is now. So why can't we focus 100% of our efforts on keeping that? Why can't we focus 100% of our effort on creating a lasting legacy for those that are going to come after us? The people that did it back in 2015, 2014, 15, 16, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know that we would still be here this long. It was in its absolute infancy. As far as clubs go, Bearded Villains is still in its infancy. Do we have any idea what's going to be like in 15 years? No, because that's almost twice that's at least, another third as long as BV's been around. What's it going to be like at year 25? We have to make sure that it is here at year 25. And we have to make sure that it's here in a very, very positive way, changing lives of our brothers and other people in the community, just like it is now. That's what I think anyway, guys. I cannot pound that point home enough. We, the brothers in this brotherhood, are what BV is. It's so important for us to focus on that. Focus your energy and your effort on that. Be there for your brothers. Listen to your brothers. You don't need to have a counterpoint to every discussion or everything that happens. We need to be there for each other, and we need to make sure that we're staying positive. Life's going to suck. Life's going to suck at times. But how cool is it that we have our brothers and that we can be there for each other? Keep an eye out, man. Keep an eye out for opportunities. Keep an eye out for opportunities to help brothers, to help communities, to help other chapters when you can. I know we can't do it all. As much as we'd like to, we can't do it all. We can't be there all the time. But be there when you can. Help out when you can. And just push aside the negativity. You don't even need to say something. The people that want to watch the world burn are going to be there all the time. No matter what you say, no matter how much you say, they're going to stay where they're at, and they're going to stay on that chair on the front porch watching the world go by, bitching and throwing stones as often as they can. Nothing that you say or do is going to change that person. They are who they are. So why would you want your energy to be around them? I would love for us all to focus on the positive. Focus on what we can do to change the lives of the people that matter. Let's do that, right? Please, let's do that. Hey, look at that. I ended up talking for 50 minutes or something like that. Not quite. Surprised many of you still here listening to me. But that's it, guys. That's the key. That's the key. Positivity. Focus your heart and your efforts on your brothers. And quit bitching about what is or isn't. Let's focus on what could be and put our efforts there. And I think, you know what? That's a good way to end it. That's going to wrap it up. Episode 203 in the books. I think that's a good way to end it. Guys, I want to challenge you, as I always do, means more than ever now. Be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. Most important words I say every week, don't forget them. It's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. But that also means you have to make an effort to talk, to figure it out. All right, guys. Until next week, have a great night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here next week for episode 204. Until then, take care. Stay safe.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard.